So this is my b230f+T. I know there's not many videos out here, or really I don't think relevant forum stuff. Just a lot of, they're just cluttered. So this is quick and dirty, honestly. This I would say borderline hack job, but it's solid, you know, using as much OEM junkyard stuff. I spent about 60 bucks on this entire turbo swap. So I'll get into the basics, you know, some of the stuff that might be, you know, just stuff that you need to know that helps. You know, for starters, you gotta switch out your manifold. My NA one had these, or not NA ones, this turbo manifold at the junkyard, which was lighted, there we go, had heat shields on here. So those were kind of a pain to get around, but I didn't put them on there because I think they're pointless, honestly. This one ended up being an EGR. Don't mind my crappy weld, my machine is just terrible. This was an EGR manifold, so I took this plug out and then I welded this end shut and then just put it back in there because this is not an EGR car. So from there, you know, you cut the manifold, you get the turbo on there. Your downpipe, this downpipe had about that much removed from it. You know, about 1.5 inches, almost 2 inches. It's not a perfect fit still. You know, I still need to go to an exhaust shop, have them do the exhaust legitimate and everything, and cut this downpipe a little bit differently and change the angle on it. But it's good enough for now. It's just straight downpipe right now, which is kind of unfortunate, but it's tolerable. So from there, you got your turbo on there, and then, you know, you get the turbo, the manifold from the junkyard. For the drain pipe, there's a boss down here. You can find all the Google pictures you want for the factory location on a BFT, or b230f+T. So I just drilled the block, drilled out the hole. I think it ended up being 11/16 if I'm not mistaken, and then just stuck the pipe in there. I still need to put the seal on there like it has from the factory. It's like an O-ring, but it's like a flatter one, you know, it's not like a rounded. So it's just a simple seal. Hopefully that seals it. I don't want to have to use JB Weld or RTV. Just not really a long-term solution. So I used the stock drain pipe, drilled in the stock location. Drilling oil pans is just a pain. I just didn't want to deal with it because I had a Honda and it just did that, and it just didn't, and it leaked all the time. So, and this way you're using a solid steel tube, not some stupid cheap heater hose that, you know, you gotta switch every couple oil changes because it's just a soggy mess that's not oil resistant. For the feed line, I used an AN fitting. It goes from AN for the hose to, I don't remember the size on this turbo. It was left over from my Honda build. It was a whole set turbo, so it's the same fitting there. And so the line comes up from the turbo, goes around, and comes to, oh man, let me see if I can get this. I had to move the light. So it comes around from the turbo up here, where we came from. It's coming around onto your downpipe here. You gotta go, went over here, over the intake pipe on the turbo, and then it went up or down underneath the lower radiator hose here, and then it comes up just barely above the alternator there. It's a really tight fit in there, and it comes back here. There's a, oh man, let me get down there a little bit lower. Oh, there we go. Okay, there's an actual fitting, a plug that was in here. It was a 6mm hex head or Allen head plug that was in the block for testing. It's used for testing the oil pressure, apparently. But you just pull that out, and I don't remember the thread pitch on it, but you get an AN to that thread adapter, and you put it in there, and then you put your hose on there. This one ended up using a 90-degree adapter because the shop was out of 90-degree fittings for the hose. So I used an adapter. It sticks out pretty far. With a standard 90-degree elbow fitting, you probably would have a lot more room, but it's very tight to get that on there. Cranking all those down, and it's kind of a pain. But got it in there, doesn't leak, it's solid, no problems there. So other stuff. Let's get this. So, you know, obviously besides the turbo, you get this charge pipe here. Goes over to the intercooler. This is off a 900 series. This is where this stuff came from. Not a 200 or 700. It was a 960. Somebody tried to tell me that they don't have turbos. Well, I looked at the car. It said 960, had turbo on it. So you do the math. It was on there. So and it was factory installed, you could tell. The AMM or MAF, take that off the turbo car. There's supposed to be differences. I don't know, but I needed a new. I figured a new one wouldn't hurt because mine was all covered in oil from previous owner things. But to get your MAF, this wire for the MAF, you have to either basically strip apart the entire harness, which I was gonna do. Took the casing off. I was like, hell no, that's a lot of work. Did feel like it, like I said, quick and dirty. So I don't even know if you can see it because I covered it up pretty good. Oh, here we go. So normally it's, you know, different colored wires. I only had one color, so I just simply extended the wires, and then at the plug, if you take this off, the colors will match up with those colors. It's what, 5 wires here. So you just extend them. You know, solder. Don't be using no stupid wire nuts, anything like that. Go and solder the wires up on both ends on the extension there, and then plug it in over here because originally, you know, it was on the other side of the car. So you need the pipe that comes from the MAF to the turbo. It has this fitting here. I don't know what the hell this is. I guess it's some kind of something. It's not hooked up. I don't need it. Whatever. And this hose goes here to where your old flame trap was. There's a vacuum fitting on here. I disconnected it. It's just hanging here because I was not getting any vacuum when I had it hooked up. So it's just till I could figure it out later. I don't know. It's just chilling. So I don't know. And that, you know, that goes down to your breather box and all that jazz. What else we got? The fan. I switched to the electric fan. The wiring is pretty simple. Just give it some power, something that's powered by ignition. Hook it up. So when you take the fan, the wires that go up to the relay. I just mounted it over here. I put the hot on my ignition coil because, you know, when you turn the key on, that turns on. So bam, now I got fan. Just runs all the time when the car's on. That's not a problem for me at this time. When I move back to Minnesota, it's gonna be cold in the winter. Yeah, I'll have to turn it off, figure something else out. But as for now, it's sufficient. So, but make sure you get your relay. That way you can use the relay. And then you can put a temp sensor on there, whatever. I didn't, you know, go that route yet. So here's the fan from the I believe it was a 960. It actually fit very well. I used the 240 stays for the intercooler behind here. Well, let's just keep on the fan here real quick. With the fan, all I had to do was notch that out. Just right here for the hose. Notch it out. You know, it's not perfect fit, but notched it out here. Fits the radiator just fine. Oh, I did have to drill this hole here for this screw here from, you know, above the engine here we're looking. This screw here, there was not a hole here. It's supposed to be normally where I cut it off. So I drilled this hole in the plastic and used the same retaining screw that's for this radiator. It's right there. So, you know, there's nothing holding on the bottom right now. I gotta make a bracket because the bottom plastic pegs broke off, but that's fine. What else? Oh, and then you just I ended up using this pulley. The other car had another pulley that was actually, I don't know if that's supposed to be red or if the guy painted it. I don't really care. This is the one off of the turbo car. It's smaller. I didn't get any new belts, so I had to use the bigger one for now. The smaller one, your water pump's going to turn faster. You're going to get better cooling, all that business. So I'm going to end up upgrading to that later. Okay, so your radiator. I deleted the AC. Actually, let's pull this out. Is that even shows in that? Not really. Okay. I deleted the AC, so I don't know if the condenser would normally be in the way. I believe it might be. Not sure. But I ended up cutting out a lot of the stuff back here. Some thin metal strips. I don't really feel like taking this off for this video, but under here, this normally connects to your headlights. So the spot welds all along here. I drilled that one out. That one. And I actually cut a lot of metal out here for the intercooler pipes. With this one here, and I'm going to do this other one over here, there's metal behind it. So I just grabbed a 10 mil bolt, nut, whatever extra ones, bolted it together. Do the same on the other side when I get to it. You know, keep your Volvo clamps. You're going to run into the battery tray here with this bigger intercooler. well, all I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut the battery tray because I got this car for 800 bucks. It's not a classic, it's not a collector's, anything like that. So it's going up. And you got here, this is your hose for your intake or idle air control valve down here. This hose was already connected on the NA setup. Just pull it off. When you put this on there, put it on there. Bam, done. Then you got your pipe off the 900 series coming here. Alright. I'm not going to get into the stuff on taking everything from the junkyard. I mean, honestly, it's pretty straightforward. At the end, I'll go through a list again of all the stuff you need real quick. I deleted the charcoal canister. I've always deleted those in every car because I guess I'm just a freaking environmental Nazi. I don't know. Whatever. I think they're pointless. Some shit they made up. Whatever. Anyway. Then they want you to take the injectors out and replace those. And then to do that, you need the resistor box. This is running at the stock boost, 7-8 pounds. I opted to keep the original injectors. And I didn't put the resistor box. Still running the NA computers. I'm going to switch those out when I get a chance to pick those up. I failed to get those at the junkyard. I mean, it's really easy. You just take your flame trap off of here to run this hose. There's that. Oh, and another thing. Upper radiator hose, it was fine. Left that. But lower radiator hose, I kept my... These are a little bit more of a pain because the 900 series did not have the washer reservoir here. It was on the other side or down there or something, I don't remember. So that's why I don't have any air cleaner on here at the time. It's just, I'll get to that eventually. But stock cooler, kept that hose on there that came on this car. Now from the junkyard, I changed out this hose here. The, I don't know, lower overflow hose, I suppose. This has the coolant line here for the turbo, because if a turbo is water cooled, you should not run it without the water lines. Why? Well, they're on there for a reason, so just run them. Then your lower radiator hose, you need to take the lower radiator hose from the turbo car, because right here, the sticker part on the bottom, there's a hose that comes out and feeds, or it drains the water from the turbo to this. And then, I mean, that's about it. I mean, it's pretty straightforward if you've ever... I mean, when you look at the turbo car, you're like, okay, you know, before you go to the junkyard or whatever, look at your car, look it over, before you look at the donor car. I didn't have the option of, you know, drive my car, park them side by side, and be like, okay, what's different? I didn't have that option. So, I had to go off of kind of a halfway memory. This hose here came off the turbo car, so get this one. Now, I don't know if it matters or not. I think it does, but... I'm pretty sure it does. But yeah, I grabbed this hose off the turbo car. This top one that goes to the oil air separator jazz thing where the flame trap was, but there's no flame trap on these. One more thing, the vacuum line from your what do they call it? The hose from your CBV, circulating blow-off valve, or bypass valve, I should say. You know, basically what these have built in instead of a blow-off valve, this recirculates the air so it doesn't mess with your mass airflow sensor. So, the vacuum line for that, you come up, just tee it off of here, off of your fuel pressure regulator, just tee it off. I took this entire hose right here all the way over from the turbo car. The hose was fairly new, a lot newer than mine, and I'm cheap. So, I was like, well, it's perfectly fine. I'm not going to go buy brand new hoses. That's just foolish. But I took this entire hose that comes all the way from the CBV all the way up to wherever it was plugged in on the turbo car. And now the line comes up from the CBV, goes over to the fuel pressure regulator. This T was part of the line that was already there on the turbo car, and then it comes around. I just have it wrapped around, kind of keep it out of the way, and it comes back around over here to the vacuum port on the manifold down here. And that's basically it for a cheap, dirty, get it done, not looking pretty turbo swap. So, sum it up again. You want to get your AAM or AMM, mass airflow sensor, the charge pipes with all the rubber boots, all of them. This one I end up cutting. Otherwise, this would be like way up here, ridiculous, and all that. This is something I'm gonna fix soon. But get your charge pipes. Obviously, your turbo manifold. I was very, very blessed to find a turbo that was literally pristine condition. There was not a damn thing wrong with it. So you got your charge pipes, your intercooler, and then your electric. You can go without the electric fan. I mean, the difference is just phenomenal. The electric fan mod was just a great idea to do, I think. Anyway, back over here, get your rubber boot for this side of the intercooler. Make sure you get all these hose clamps. These are actually really nice hose clamps. They got these little, here we go. They got these little clips on them too, that like clip the clamp to the pipe. I really like that idea. That seems really cool. Maybe it leaks, I don't know, but I like the idea of it. It looks cool, I guess, I don't know. Whatever. Get this pipe, your rubber boot here for the throttle body, and then this was already on this NA car here, so I didn't have to change that out. Turbo, manifold, and then get your downpipe, which you have to cut to make it shorter, unless you're getting this turbo kit off of a 200 series car, which, well, you must be the luckiest man in the world to find a 240 turbo in the junkyard. Mostly you're going to find the 700s and the 900s, particularly automatics. So this ended up being the TD04 13C turbo. I don't know. And it's set to 7 to 8 pounds from the factory, and I just left it at that for now. But yeah, that pretty much sums it up. This is your fuel pressure regulator, 2.5 bar. I believe some of them are 3 bar, which is better for more boost. 3 bar, that's like, what is that? That's a lot of damn boost. 2.5 is like 30 pounds or something like that. So you're not gonna be running, well, maybe, but I highly doubt you're gonna be running 30 pounds of boost on a damn NA engine like this high compression 240 or 230. But yeah, that's about it. Pretty simple.